We're going to start off with strikes, and of course the RMT yesterday announced that they have rejected the Rail Delivery Group's offer, and so they have asked for a meeting today, which as far as I know hasn't happened, but the RMT, the rail strikes therefore on. That follows postal strikes on Thursday and Friday last week, and we've got the nursing strikes going on. But look, here's the point I wanted to highlight here. This is more than just about pay for these people. So the proposals from the employer are also conditional, according to this document, on your union accepting the following: that all workforce changes are accepted without reservation or industrial action, closure of all ticket offices and displacement of all retail staff, creation of a new multi-skilled station grades, a mass job severance programme, driver-only operations on trains, new arrangements for mandatory Sunday working, a review of all on-train catering services, review of fleets, grades, working practices and depot driving, flexible working contracts, working and rosters, mandatory adoption of new technology with no payment, new attendance management scheme, review of stood-off arrangements, not quite sure what those are, but a new annual leave and sick pay arrangements. So, David, just to welcome you to the programme, first of all, clearly much more. I mean, in the case of nursing, we've seen that the issue of patient safety is part and parcel of what's going on, but certainly with the postal strikes and with the rail strikes, there's an attempt to completely re-engineer the contracts of employment.
Yes, because the background situation is changing. It's changing radically, and it's changing in unpredictable ways. So in order to keep the businesses viable, they have to respond in similar vein. So in the case of post, well, we have a thing called email, and it's totally changed. The technology's totally changed the market, as technologies are totally changing, for example, the high street. And in terms of transport, well, it's very, very government-led, and it's very highly regulated, and it is, of course, part of the dear green solution to all of the world's ails. So the state is hugely involved in regulating and in Scotland actually running the railways, but it's not going very well. After all, they did shut us all in our homes for 2.5 years. This didn't do an awful lot for the rail industry. And you're seeing the after effects of that. They're needing to dramatically cut costs. They're needing huge improvements in the flexibility of their workforce in order to cope with the fact that the underlying business model that they were working on was destroyed, not least of which by government COVID policy.
Well, David, I mean, this is a ridiculous thing for you to say. Government COVID policy could not possibly be the reason for it, or any other government policy, and I'm going to show you why.
You're coming up to Christmas. It's unfair, in my view, for the unions to really damage people's and disrupt people's lives and livelihoods at a time at Christmas. And they should really rethink and they should reflect on this, because that is exactly what Putin wants to see, is that division. Let's not divide, let's come together.
So clearly you need to rethink your position there, David, because it was Putin's fault all along.
Well, there we go. You know, I have to also, not only do I have to re-drink which pub I go to in Jerusalem, but I have to rethink many things here. Did you like the use of the word unfair? This is trying to capture a word that the left have been misusing for years. But now, the government's going to grab hold of this idea of fairness, which of course doesn't mean anything. This is why it's such a good term for politicians. And we're going to say, well, it's unfair. Yes, everything's unfair. Life's unfair. The amount of unfairness that we can point to is essentially unlimited. And he's found some more. Well done, him.
David, I'll just add to that of course fairness comes into the childish vocabulary. It's not fair. So I think what we've got here is more echoing back that the general public are to be treated as children at all times.
But let's just have one brief listen to what Laura Kuenssberg had to say, and then we could discuss that.
No doubt.
Of course, nobody would deny that President Putin's illegal war in Ukraine has exacerbated all of this.
Do you think that's true? Would nobody deny that, Brian?
Well, you can blame anything on Putin. I've suspect that Father Christmas is going to be delayed because, you know, Putin will have done something to the reindeer. It doesn't matter what it is, you just say it's Putin, and that's the rubber stamp on it.